And you're welcome again. Now, just days after the Julius Abure-led faction of the Labour Party held its National Executive Council meeting, in the Nendadi Usman-led Caretaker Committee has convened another NEC meeting in Abuja. Now, in attendance were Abia State Governor Alex Oti, the Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate, Peter Obi, and other elected members under the party's platform. Our correspondent Joshua Marai has more.
The National Executive Committee meeting of the Labour Party held in Abuja despite warnings of sanctions by the embattled National Chairman, Julius Abure. In attendance were elected members on the party's platform, aspirants, and former candidates in various elections. The party's 2023 vice presidential candidate, Dati Baba Ahmed, reacted to the Supreme Court judgment on the leadership crisis alongside other key stakeholders.
It is very pleasing to witness the fact that once in a while, our courts do give what we consider the right judgment. However, the justice system is designed to always and forever give the right judgment, not to selectively give the right judgment.
They extended an olive branch to our group members following the outcome of the judgment.
I therefore call on all party members, whether aggrieved by the decision of the Supreme Court or not, to set aside their grievances and ambitions and come join us to build a party that will stand with the ordinary Nigerian, and a party that would ensure that the gains of democracy are available to every Nigerian.
So if you come into this kind of room and I present myself and I said I want to be your chairman, and you say you don't want me to be, there is no way I can impose myself. That's right. So we are still extending the olive branch to him and those in the former National Working Committee to sheathe their sword. There's no need fighting. They will just be delaying the doomsday because it will still happen.
During his own address, Peter Obi, the Labour Party's presidential candidate in the 2023 elections, dismissed speculations that he is planning to leave the party.
Some have speculated all sorts of things. Some have even said, oh, he has left the Labour Party. Some of us are on our way out. Some of us are on our way this. Let me assure you, we are Labour Party members.
The National Executive Committee, in its final resolution, passed a vote of confidence on the Nendadi Usman-led Caretaker Committee. Shortly after, members of the committee proceeded to the Independent National Electoral Commission headquarters to present the certified true copy of the Supreme Court judgment. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarai.
Now, also another offshoot of the Labour Party, Lamidi Apapa, has declared himself the acting national chairman. Now, at a press conference in Abuja, Apapa cited the recent Supreme Court judgment of April 4, 2025, claiming the ruling nullifies all actions taken by Julius Abure since April 2023. He also announced the appointment of a new acting secretary and outlined plans for a national meeting of the party's National Working Committee to chart a new direction. Apapa told journalists that based on Article 14, subsection 2A and B of the Labour Party Constitution, he is the highest-ranking deputy national chairman and is constitutionally empowered to take over as acting national chairman.
Following the decision of the Supreme Court on setting aside all judgments that recognizes the leadership of Julius Abure as national chairman, I, Alhaji Bashiru Lamidi Apapa, who is the most senior deputy national chairman of our great party, and in consonance with our party constitution's Article 14, 2, bracket A, B, hereby takes over the running of affairs of our great party, with effect from today, Wednesday, the 9th day of April 2025, in acting a capacity, and Alhaji Farouk Umar Ibrahim as National Secretary. My leadership hereby call on all members of our party, the National Working Committee of our great party.
Now, as the Supreme Court judgment and the leadership tussle of the Labour Party remains a bone of contention, I am now joined by two lawyers, Tunji Abdourahamane and also Mawa Monday, to take it, or rather to make it make sense. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us this evening. Now, I'm going to go right ahead and... Oh, you're welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Rand. Mr. Tunji, let's start by asking you, what was your initial reaction to the Supreme Court's judgment on the Labour Party's leadership tussle? And if you can, please, could you walk us through the key points of the judgment and how they relate to the Labour Party's constitution?
Yeah, thank you for having me. The judgment of the Supreme Court, what is clear from the judgment is that the Supreme Court did not look into the merit of the case. They did not consider the cases, the merit or otherwise of the case before them. What the Supreme Court held was that the lower court, that is the Federal High Court, and the Court of Appeal have no jurisdiction to entertain the matter in the first instance on the ground that the matter is internal leadership of the party. And they are saying that whatever that is internal leadership of the party is not a matter for the court to decide, that it should be a matter for the party to treat. So what is clear from the judgment, again, is that Mr. Abure chairmanship of the party, or confirmation of his chairmanship of the party by the Court of Appeal was set aside. In other words, the Court of Appeal decision that made him, the chairman of the party, has been said to be set aside, which means that no judgment exists for him to rely on. What is also clear from the judgment is that the court did not pronounce Nanadi Usman as the authentic chairman or whatever chairman of the party. Nobody has been confirmed as in that regard by the Supreme Court, because they did not look into the merit of the case. They only determined the jurisdiction, because in law, when the court don't have jurisdiction, you can, no matter what you do, no matter how good that thing is, it is illegal, it is nullity. So a court must have jurisdiction for it to be able to entertain the matter. But for me, I think Supreme Court, being a court of policy, to go further, because I'm aware that Supreme Court advised the party to always abide by their constitution, and they should reduce the attitude of coming to court to help them resolve their matters.
Okay.
You see, we are in a country where people don't play by the rules because of their selfish interest. So I expect that, look, Supreme Court will not only rely on technicality of lack of jurisdiction. Once the matter gets to the Supreme Court, I am thinking that Supreme Court should find it more important to look at the merit of the case, so that to set it as to kill the case entirely. Because not looking at the case today is the reason why we're having what we're having today now. And okay. I tell you, the advice of the Supreme Court that they should allow constitution of the party to prevail may not hold water, because these people are not ready to abide by it. So when there's a dispute between two people and they are not able to come together, the only place they can go is the court. So I think the issue of a court will not intervene in the affairs of the internal affairs of the party should not be a standard that would at appropriate situation.
Okay, then,
the court should engage.
All right, then, All right, let me come to Mr. Mara now. Mr. Mara, some lawyers have argued that a return to status quo ruling is always a dicey one, especially in a case where the Supreme Court has restrained itself from naming the characters involved. Is this also your view?
Yes, honestly, I have that same view, and I think I shared it in a particular radio television station sometime late last week. Well, to be sincere, I think what the Supreme Court did is consistent with their position for quite some time now, when it borders on party politics and leadership in any political party. And the rationale behind that is that the Supreme Court are of the opinion that membership of political party is voluntarily, and that once you have decided to join any party, you have automatically also decided to abide by its constitution. And like my brother there stated earlier on, The point is the politicians for whom they are not known to play by the rule. They are not known to play by the rule of the game. And so, if we say, let them do whatever they are supposed to do, politicians will not do what is right, with the greatest respect to all of them. And so, I think it is about time the Supreme Court now decided to take a second look at its position that party leadership matter, that it will not dabble into it. Because if you don't dabble into it, these guys will not be able to settle themselves. Now, for instance, look at the present situation in Labour Party at the moment. Yes, the Supreme Court, by that decision, clearly sacked Abure. Unfortunately, and contrary to the position being speculated by some person on the other angle, the Supreme Court, by that judgment, did not return or confirm Nenadi Usman. Because if you look at the notice of appeal that Nenadi Usman filed before the Supreme Court, which is the originating process, they asked for two reliefs. The first relief was another allowing her appeal. That was the first order. Then the second order was an order setting aside the decision of the both lower court, that is the Federal High Court and the Court of Appeal, that affirmed Abure as the national chairman. And the Supreme Court clearly granted those two reliefs and did not go beyond that. Because don't forget, the court is not a Father Christmas. The court can only grant whatever you have decided to ask from the court, which is in consonance with your pleadings or the affidavit in support of your case. But they cannot go outside that. Now, I listened to Senator Ume this evening, I think on Arise Television, and his position, with the greatest respect to him, was that, if two people went to court and one lost out, and the other person automatically has won. But that is not the case all the time. For instance, if both of us we go to court now over a dispute related to land, and I am the claimant, I went to court seeking for declaration in respect of maybe 2 parcels of land against you, and what you just merely did was to file your statement of defense without more. If at the end of the case the court found that I have not been able to establish my case, the court will dismiss my claim. So for the fact that the court has dismissed my claim does not automatically mean that the court has awarded the land to you, the defendant, unless you have what we call counterclaim. So in other words, beyond you filing just statement of defense, you must file a counterclaim. And in your counterclaim, you must have been able to show how you have a superior right or superior title to that land better than myself. So without a counterclaim, you cannot say you have gotten a judgment which is in your favor. I think that the position taken by the senator was
Mr. Mara, the situation leaves much to interpretation and very diverse interpretation. Tunji, I will come to you in just a minute, but I still have another question for Mr. Mara here with us. Let's take a look at the arguments presented by both sides now. What were the strongest arguments, Mr. Mara, that both sides actually presented in their cases?
I didn't get that. Please, can you come again?
What were the strongest arguments, in your view, presented by the sides in their cases?
You mean in their cases before the court?
Yes.
Yes. No, I think the position was that, don't forget, what gave rise to this case we are talking about was that a result of Abure convention, which took place sometime last year in March in Unewi. When Abure conducted that convention, he wrote a letter to INEC, giving INEC the statutory 21 days notice to convoke that convention. Now, INEC did not attend the convention, and some other stakeholders in Labour Party, including Alex Oti, the governor of Abia State, and His Excellency Peter Obi, they did not attend. So at the end of the convention, Abure and his group returned themselves as elected, and then they submitted the outcome to INEC. But INEC refused to accept them. And as a result, Abure was refused entrance into some of the quarterly meeting of INEC. And as a result of that, Abure, the Labour Party approached the court, asking the court that, in view of the fact that, is it right for INEC to refuse Abure entrance into the INEC meeting as a job simply because they did not attend the convention of INEC, Abure? And the court, that was the question of the Labour Party before the court. Now, when that matter was going, Nenadi and her group brought an application to be joined as an interested party, and they were joined. Now, as soon as they got in there, they brought in issue of leadership to the suit. They were the one that introduced issue of leadership to the suit. And so they canvassed the fact that Abure tenure has expired. And that at the time Abure went to convoke or conduct that convention, that he was no longer having the capacity legally to convoke that. And the Federal High Court, presided over by Honorable Justice Omotosho, agreed with Abure and ordered INEC to recognize Abure. And that matter was appealed to Court of Appeal. Court of Appeal affirmed the judgment of Justice Omotosho. Unfortunately, Supreme Court set aside those decisions just last week. And I think the position both of them made was that none of them, Nenadi claimed he is the leader of the party, having been constituted in Abia State. Unfortunately, there is another problem to that fact. Because Section 223 of the Constitution does not allow for the party administration to be administered by a technical committee. In other words, technical committee is not known to our Constitution.
Monday, we are running out of time, and I do have a question, my last question here from Mr. Tunji. Mr. Tunji, I've saved the best question for you. A party at the precipice of actually falling apart at the center here, what steps do you think the Labour Party should take in response to the judgment to ensure a smooth transition and also maintain party unity?
I think what they did today, like calling a meeting of all board members of the party and stakeholders of the party, is the appropriate thing to do so as to make a way forward. Because as it is today now, there is a vacuum as regards the chairmanship of the party. The court has clearly sacked Mr. Abure, and the tenure of other members of the leadership, I think it has expired. So what they need to do is to come together, decide on the way forward, which is what they did today at the party. But because some people are not interested in that, they refuse to attend, and they were making declarations from where they are. Like, for example, Mr. Apapa is declaring himself as the chairman of the party. Let them assume there's a vacancy, and there's a need to fill that vacancy. Will it be you that will come up and announce yourself the party must come together and decide to say, look, in view of this vacancy or whatever has happened, this is what the way to go. And that's what they are doing today. And I think they have done the right thing by calling the meeting of all parties. That is the way forward, as far as I'm concerned.
A very interesting take there, Tunji. Thank you very much, Mr. Tunji Abdourahamane, and also thank you very much, Monday Mara, for joining us to give us your views on the matter. Thank you, gentlemen. And you're welcome back. You're watching Tonight on News Central. Now, a reminder of our top stories. Nenadi Usman, Labour Party faction, holds National Executive Council meeting as delegation presents Supreme Court CTC to INEC. And Rivers State Sole Administrator Ibok Ete Ibas appoints 23 heads of local government areas defying Abuja High Court order. And also trade war intensifies as China, EU and US slam significant tariffs on one another in brash retaliation. Now, less than 24 hours after the adjournment of his defamation trial, human rights activist and politician Omoyele Sowore has led a protest to the Nigeria Police Force headquarters in Abuja. Sowore is demanding the removal of Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun over what he described as an illegal extension of tenure. The protesters, under the aegis of the Take It Back movement, accused the IGP of remaining in office after reaching the retirement threshold of 60 years or 35 years of service in September 2024. They also referred a statement by the Attorney General of the Federation which affirmed the IGP's tenure as expired and described President Bola Tinubu's continued support for his stay as unconstitutional.
In Nigerian country, security is going down. As you are aware, over 60 persons were killed in Plateau State last week. Yes. It is after they were killed that Egbetokun decided that he will mobilize the tactical squads. What happened to intelligence gathering? Is it the intelligence department only for tracking social media critics of the government? How is it that the Nigerian police force cannot gather intelligence and know that 60 people will be massacred in Plateau? The same thing happened in Katsina. We are hearing today that the Borno governor has come out and said they are losing Borno State to Boko Haram all over again. And you have an IG who is retired and tired, who has refused to leave office. We are not pleading with the police or trying to play to the gallery. And we're also not trying to patronize anybody in the police. But the police force deserve new blood to manage Nigeria police force. Others who are trained, who have risen through the ranks, who are supposed to become IG, desire to become IG. If Tinubu is so much in love with Egbetoku, I cannot do without him. He can make him, after his retirement in 2004, the manager of NURTW to deputize for Oluomo. But anybody that's retired don't have a right to wear the Nigeria police force uniform anymore. That is why we came here today again to remind him. So, Egbetoku must go. Egbetoku must go. Egbetoku must go. Egbetoku must go. IGP must go. IGP must go. Egbetoku must go.
In other news, the sole administrator of Rivers State, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, retired, has announced new appointments to the state civil service and local government service commissions. Now, this move comes alongside the controversial appointment of administrators across the 23 local government councils, despite a restraining order from the Federal High Court. In addition, critical appointments were made to the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission on Wednesday morning. Professor Worika confirmed that the appointments take effect from April 7, 2025. These decisions come barely a week after Vice Admiral Ibas dissolved all existing boards, parastatals, and commissions, in addition to sacking all political appointees who were installed by the suspended governor, Siminalayi Fubara. And in related development, former governor of Rivers State, Rufus Ada George, has called out the FCT minister Nyesom Wike for engineering the political unrest in Rivers State. This accusation is coming on the heels of the recent appointment of administrators at the local government levels by the state's sole administrator, Ibok Ete Ibas. Ada George, who was governor of Rivers State between 1992 and 1993, strongly frowned at the FCT minister's involvement in the crisis leading to the declaration of an emergency rule in Rivers State.
For instance, I'm coming out plainly to accuse him that initially we would have probably made a palliative statement, but we are saying, I am saying, I'm not that. Wike is the architect of all these things. He has watched, Mr. President has traveled, and is not back. He is now swept dead, heaps of death, piled up somewhere, waiting for Mr. President to come and clear. Him and all those that they are alleged are supporting him, whether in the presidency or in the National Assembly, the Senate, or the House of Reps. We are pleading with them that we will continue.
Jacob Pele is a Rivers State stakeholder. He joins me now to share his perspective on the development in the state. Good to have you here, sir. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Grant, while we're fixing your audio, I'm going to go right ahead and ask my first question to you, sir. The sole administrator announced just the day after a court order said he shouldn't. How legal are these appointments on his ground alone, on this ground alone, rather?
It's very unfortunate that this sole administrator, who is a sole administrator that is illegal, because the whole process that brought him into office is a violation of legal process. Therefore, he is illegal. And whatever he is doing is absolutely illegal. These particular sole administrator and those who appointed him are destroying every democratic system in Rivers State. And I hope one day that he will stand trial for all the things that he is doing. And of course, they will talk about budget because they want to pad the budget and cut away money that belongs to the good people of Rivers State. What they are doing is a destruction of the foundation of democracy. and someone needs to talk to them, someone needs to stop them. And of course, the FCC minister have decided that he's going to be the enemy of Rivers people. One day, history will not be very kind to him. You know, what he's doing and their determination to destroy Rivers State and Rivers people. It is very, 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 very disappointing to know that the president will fold his hand and watch the people that he ought to be leading and safeguarding being destroyed and wasted. That's exactly what it is. Rivers people are peace-loving, we are law-abiding, we are resourceful, we are the base, the economic base of this country. And the way we are being treated and being violated is very unbecoming of what a true leader should do. Therefore, this sole administrator should bow out honorably, throw in the towel, and leave the leadership of the state to a democratically elected governor. And that's it's not about sin, it's about democratic structure.
Now, Mr. Apapa, many watchers had perhaps cynically argued that the sole administrator was ultimately going to organize local government elections. And the question is, are we already there with the appointment of a new chairman for the State Electoral Commission? The big question is, should the sole administrator be organizing local government polls?
I mean, you have said it. How can someone who is not elected, someone who doesn't have the mandate of the people, then go ahead to organize the election? Do they understand what they are doing? What in the world is going on? Whose mandate? Who will give him the mandate and the authority to organize a local government election that is foundational? Are we in Banana Republic? All the people that are appointed as the so-called administrators of the local government are all wicked boys. What nonsense are they doing? Can't common sense prevail over nonsense? It's very appalling, and one day somebody will be held accountable. I think with all the military training that he has received, he should know what is right to do. This is unacceptable. And one day, like I said, history will be very unkind to all the people responsible. This is a violation and a rape of the rights of the people of Rivers State. We are being taken for granted. We are being violated. The level of injustice that is being done to the very people that provide. The president has flown out of this country. The fuel with which he flew out of, the jets, was something that was gotten from Rivers State. And yet, we are going through this and the whole world is watching. This is how genocide starts. This is how ethnic cleansing starts. And they should be mindful what they do, because this is a test of our resolve. We are resilient, we are peaceful, but don't push us too hard.
Mr. Jacob Ele, I want to say thank you very much for joining us tonight. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, and I want to thank your station for being bold and being honest. We can count on your station as one station that will always present the facts the way they are. And Kanuri and your group and your team, please continue to make this country proud. We're proud of what New Central is doing, and we will continue to speak truth to power. Ibok is illegal, and everything he does is illegal.
Mr. Pele, we'll continue to do our best for true, fair reportage. Thank you very much, sir. Now, the news continues in a moment. Welcome back. Now, on the global stage, President Donald Trump has announced a 90-day pause on higher reciprocal tariffs for dozens of trade partners, while escalating duties on China to a staggering 125%. Now, this decision follows market turmoil triggered by the implementation of higher tariffs on 56 nations and the European Union, which went into effect just 13 hours earlier. The move sent sparking fears of looming recession in the global markets, though the specifics of which nations will receive tariff relief remains unclear. Those who do benefit will still face the baseline 10% tariff rate that took effect on Saturday, with China not included in the pause. And the military government in Niger Republic says the country is adopting Hausa as the national language, replacing French. The change was announced in a new charter released on March 31st, which said the national language is Hausa and the working languages are English and French. This move follows a national conference held in February, which strengthened the ruling junta led by Abdourahamane Tchiani to remain in power for the next 5 years. The conference also led to the recognition of 9 other local languages as the spoken languages of Niger, including Zarma-Songhay, Fula, Kanuri, Gourmanche, and Arabic. Hausa is the most widely spoken language in Niger, with around 26 million people reportedly using it. Joanna joins me now for some business headlines.
That's right, and on business today, the federal government says Naira for crude has come to stay, and perhaps that's good news for the price of petrol locally as well as our FX markets. I'll bring you the details on this after this break.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money. Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
Government has reaffirmed its commitment to the Crude and Refined Product Sales in Nigeria initiative, emphasizing its importance in alleviating foreign exchange pressures and ensuring long-term energy security. This was confirmed during a high-level meeting of the technical subcommittee chaired by Finance Minister Wale Edun. Senior officials from the oil and gas sector, including NNPC, Dangote Refinery, and regulatory bodies, attended the session, which focused on assessing progress and addressing implementation challenges. The initiative aims to reduce Nigeria's reliance on global oil price fluctuations and stabilize the naira. And Nigeria has signed a $328.8 million contract with China Machinery Engineering Corporation to rehabilitate and expand Nigeria's electricity transmissions network under Phase 1 of the Presidential Power Initiative. The agreement covers engineering, procurement, construction financing for 330 kilovolts and 132 kilovolt transmission lines spanning 544 kilometers with a load capacity of 7,140 megawatts. This initiative aims to improve grid reliability and reduce standard generation capacity. The project will be overseen by FGN Power Company. Power Minister Adebayo Adelabu highlighted the importance of addressing power sector bottlenecks and ensuring efficient electricity delivery. The partnership with CMEC is meant to complement the ongoing collaboration with Siemens Energy to enhance Nigeria's transmission infrastructure and support increased generation capacity. And the bears are back after Tuesday's spell of relief on the local bourse. Investors lost 119 billion naira. We're seeing that reflected in the numbers. The market is down 18 basis points. All share index is at 104,187 and market capitalization 65.47 trillion naira. Coming to sectoral performances, the banks are down. Some of the known names, Fidelity Bank, First Holdco and GTCO, dragging that sector down 1.60%. Insurance is up, a rebound from yesterday, 2.67%. Oil and gas, Oando is also making a comeback there, driving that sector up 0.47%. Consumer goods down 0.23%, and industrial goods marginal decline there, 0.04%. That is it on Business Tonight. I am Joanna Mustafa. Tonight continues with Mazino.
It's still on tonight, and this time Favor joins me in for some sports stories. Here, Remo Stars seem to be gunning for the coveted NPFL title now, don't they?
Yes, of course. I mean, they have 6 games left, 6 points adrift to top of the table, looking like they might also pick up the first title for the season. Can they, or will they be able to put the chest out of the fire only about 6 games from now? Many more after this.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
Remo Stars secured the 2-2 draw against Lobby Stars in a rescheduled Nigeria Premier Football League fixture, extending the lead at the top of the table to 6 points with 6 games remaining. The match played at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium in Enugu saw Lobby Stars take control early, with John Mark Aule opening the scoring in the 35th minute. Oyekachi Okafor then doubled their lead from the penalty spot shortly after. Remo Stars responded in the second half with Aruna Hadi finishing off an assist from striker Joshua Abba in the 56th minute to have the deficit. In the 70th minute, Abba himself capitalized on a goal-mouth scramble to equalize for Remo Stars. The Sky Blue Stars lead the table with 61 points, while Rivers United and Abia Warriors are second and third with 55 and 50 points respectively. And now to women's football, FC Robo stunned Rivers Angels with a resounding 3-0 win at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, snapping the visitors' 10-match unbeaten run in the Nigeria Women's Football League. The Lagos-based side struck just 2 minutes after kickoff, Kemi Adebuyi capitalizing on a goalkeeping error by Andeline Mbechi to score the only goal of the first half. Rivers Angels pushed for an equalizer early in the second half, but a crucial save from Muridia Ulisesi denied Titilayo Aweda. Moments later, Miriam Yahaya doubled the lead, and with 4 minutes remaining, Opeyemi Ajakaye sealed the win. And in all the matches, of course, played today, Bayelsa Queens defeated Benin Queens 2-0, Nasarawa Amazons FC Trash Complex Queens 5-0, while Edo Queens edged Remo Stars Ladies in Ikene 1-0 to continue the unbeaten run. And now to African football, Orlando Pirates secured a Hartford 1-0 aggregate victory over MC Alger to advance to the CAF Champions League semi-finals for the first time since the 2012-13 season. Coach Jose Riviero made one change from the first leg, with Mohau Nkota replacing Cabello Lamini in the starting 11. The match saw few clear-cut chances, with Dion Oto's shot from outside the box narrowly missing the post in the first half. Chegofatso Umbasa came closest in the injury time, hitting the post from close range. However, Nkota's first leg goal proved decisive as Pirates held on to their slim advantage over 180 minutes, booking their place in the semi-finals. And now to European football, at least 5 Premier League clubs will compete in next season's UEFA Champions League after England secured a 2 spot in UEFA's Association Club Coefficient rankings. Arsenal's 3-0 victory over Real Madrid helped confirm the bonus qualification spot rewarded for strong performances across European competitions. England leads the rankings ahead of Spain and Italy, with 5 English clubs in European quarterfinals, Arsenal and Aston Villa. Manchester United and Tottenham Europa League, and Chelsea in the Conference League. The Premier League could feature up to 7 teams in the Champions League if English clubs win the Champions League or Europa League and finish outside the top 5. And that wraps it up on Sports Update, and Favor Itwa tonight continues with Mazino.
Next on tonight, Adewa tells us what's hot in the world of entertainment.
Oh, yes, that's right, because they say rap is dead, but I think not so, because Odubodu Black just bagged himself a prestigious award, and I'm going to bring you the details shortly.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
All right, now let's jump right into it. Odu Black has won the Best Rapper West African Award at the 2025 All African Music Awards, marking a significant milestone in his career. Known for his distinctive style and impactful lyrics, the Nigerian rapper continues to rise as a leading figure in the West African rap genre, with his growing influence contributing to the global recognition of that genre as well. Now, the accolade further solidifies Odu Black's place among Africa's top artists. His authentic storytelling and ability to connect with audiences have earned him widespread acclaim. With this recognition, Odu Black is poised for even greater success, and fans and industry professionals are eager to see the next chapter in his career. Well, like I said, it seems rap isn't dead after all. Mazina, what do you think?
I'll tell you something about that. I love the guy.
Yeah.
Not too sure about the morals of his music, though.
Well, okay, let's take it at that. But let's talk about another rapper who is also making waves, but internationally, as Drake has surpassed the Beatles, the record for the most cumulative weeks on the Billboard 200 chart, following the release of his 14th #1 album, Some Sexy For You, with Party Next Door. This milestone ties him with Jay-Z and Taylor Swift for the second most #1 albums, just 5 behind the Beatles in 2025. Now, Drake remains at the top, named the highest-selling rapper of 2024 by the IFPI, and the second best-selling artist overall, behind Taylor Swift. Now, this marks his 10th year in the top 10 of the IFPI's global artist rankings, solidifying his place in music history and surpassing other legends like Eminem and the rival Kendrick Lamar. All right, Mazino.
Oh, here we go again.
Here we go again. What do you have to say to this? Drake is topping.
I'll tell you something about this guy. He's like a very good watch. I mean, he takes a hit, but he keeps on ticking. I mean, he's taken so much this year from his rivals, but still on top. That's one guy I like to get behind every single time. Plus, I like his kind of rap, and yeah, I'll do with the morals. It's okay.
Great stuff. Great stuff. All right, thank you very much. Well, that's all we have on entertainment tonight.
So this is tonight. But before we go, here's a reminder of our top stories. Nenadi Usman Labour Party faction holds National Executive Council meeting as delegation presents Supreme Court CTC to INEC. And Rivers State Sole Administrator Ibokete Ibas appoints 23 heads of local government areas defying Abuja High Court order. And we also told you the trade war intensifies as China, EU, and US slam significant tariffs on one another in brash retaliation. Now do remember you can send your eyewitness reports to the WhatsApp number on your screens now. And follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Go TV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Able TV, and of course on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. My name is Mazino Appeal.